Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to go over my birth plan. At my 20-week appointment with my midwife, she recommended that I create a birth plan. And I kind of went back and forth. Do I want to just write something out of what my expectations are, or did I want to do a visual birth plan? I've seen them done by other people and I really liked how they were. I think they were really easy to read. And my position with the birth plan is that it is what I would like to have happen. I understand that when you're in that circumstance, it is a natural thing that is occurring and you cannot plan it out exactly minute to minute or hour to hour. It's just not going to happen. So the way I wrote my birth plan is basically my hopes, my wishes for what I want to have happen. But bottom line, I want a healthy baby, and that's what's most important to me. So I will put a picture up here of my birth plan so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to be looking down sometimes during this video to read off my actual birth plan that I have printed here. So I went with a template that I actually found on somebody's blog site, and I will link the girl's blog below. So if you want to go and kind of use the same template that I'm using, I think it would make it really easy for me to kind of input my wishes in it. So at the top of my birth plan, it says birth wishes. And then underneath that, it says, we recognize due to the nature of birth, things may change. We ask that you communicate as changes arise and help us make informed decisions. So that's my way of stating that this is what we would want to have happen. And if it cannot happen for some reason, or I have to have a C-section, then they would communicate with me why we'd be doing things and give me the ability to make those decisions for myself. So as we move down from the very top of my birth plan, you'll see that there is red and green labeling on my images. And that's just a very easy way that I think will help nurses or a midwife in the room be able to look at this and see what is green, like what's to go for, and things that are red, things that I am like, nope, I don't want that to have happen. So there is a little bit of like color coordinating going on here, but I am still writing the words as like I want or I don't want in it, just so that it is very clear about my wishes. The first column on here is labor. So this is everything that would be going on before I would start to push. And that's stating that I want dim lights, which I would prefer natural light than artificial light if that is possible, but I'm not going to be able to choose the time that I give birth, so who knows if that will happen or not. The next one is freedom of movement. I do not want to be strapped onto a hospital bed with a bunch of wires, IV, anything like that, making it so I have to stay on the bed for periods of time. I want to be able to get up, walk around, bounce on a ball, take a shower, do things like that so that I feel most comfortable. The next one on there is water rupture. I do not want them to break my water. I want my water to break naturally. And then it states use of food and water over IV. And that's going back to the freedom of movement thing. I would prefer not to have an IV if it is not necessary. So if there's not a necessary need for me to have an IV, for me to be getting any kind of medications or things like that, I don't want to have an IV. I would rather be drinking water, having ice, something like that. And then with the same kind of concept, it goes to intermittent monitoring. And that's just stating that I have to be monitored if they're checking his heart rate, things like that. I don't want it to be constant. I want them to check, okay, he's okay, and then let me go back to laboring in the way that's most comfortable for me. And then continue with that is limited cervical exams. And I understand that there's an importance towards the ending of my labor before I start pushing to know how far along I am. But I don't want them checking every hour unless I'm giving them an indication, okay, it feels like there's a lot of pressure, or we think that my contractions are very close together and it is getting close to that time. I want to let my body labor as naturally as possible. And last one on this column is no pain meds. This is my first child, and there's a good chance that I might have to have an epidural. I don't know how my body's going to handle it. I don't know how things are going to turn out. But me stating that I want no pain meds is my way of asking them to not offer me pain meds. I want, if I am in the position where I feel like I need it, that I am then requesting it, and that they're not just saying, oh, you seem like you're in a lot of pain. Do you want pain meds? I want to make that decision on my own freely without feeling like it's getting pressured on me. So the next column is delivery. And this is everything from when I'm fully dilated until directly after I give birth. So the first thing on here is alternative pushing positions. And this goes back to me not feeling like I want to be stuck on a bed. I want to be able to be in a squatted position. I want to be able to be on my hands and knees, something else that might feel more comfortable to me. I don't want to feel like I have to lay down. To me, that feels like a very unnatural way to push or to give birth. I just don't feel like that's going to be what's most comfortable for me. So I want that to be an option. I want them to understand that that is what I would prefer. The next one on here is touch crowning, which if you guys don't know what that means, it basically just means that I want to be able to touch his head as he's crowning. I want to be able to feel him as he's starting to come out. My next one on here is immediate skin to skin. And I'm already aware that my hospital does put your baby directly on your chest after you give birth, as long as there is no health issues. So I'm just reiterating that the fact that I want to have skin to skin right away. Delayed cord clamping. And this is another one that I'm aware that's my hospital's procedure. They do delayed cord clamping. So I'm just putting it on here again, just so that they understand that that is what I want to have happen. And the next one just states daddy cut cord. So that's so that they know that my husband will be the one who cuts the umbilical cord. So my next column on here is my nose. So these are things that I would wish for it not to have happen. The first one on here is an episiotomy, which if you guys don't know what that means, that basically just means they cut you to help the baby come out. And I would rather tear naturally than to be cut by the doctor. My next no on here is no Pitocin, which if you guys don't know what that is what they give you to start your labor or to help your labor if it's not progressing. So I would like my labor to happen as naturally as possible. So I don't want to have Pitocin if it's not necessary. I would like to let my body try to do what it's supposed to do on its own. The next one is no students, and this is actually a recommendation of my midwife, and I kind of agreed with her after discussing it with her. But my hospital, they have a lot of people who are students, so they are training there to become a midwife, and they sometimes want to be in the room and help with your delivery. And since this is my first child and my first delivery, I have come to the conclusion that it's not what's best for us. And it's what's best for us is to have a trained midwife there walking me through all the steps, so I don't have any extra anxiety about the things that are going on or the amount of people that are in the room. So I had this date on here just so that they know I don't want any students or any extra staff in the room that's not necessary. The next one is no formula. And I haven't discussed this with my midwife yet, so I did just put this on here, and it's something I want to communicate with her, or with my labor and delivery unit if I am able to have a tour there. But right now with the coronavirus, they aren't doing any tours of our labor and delivery unit. So I am planning on asking her if they do supplement if there's any issues, but I don't want them to have any supplementing. I want to have breast milk only if there's an issue with latching, or for some reason my child has to be in a NICU. I would prefer to pump and then them give my child my breast milk before they would give any type of formula. So the last thing in this column is quiet during delivery. And that is because I do not want to have a lot of loud noises or interruptions during my laboring process. I am going back and forth on whether I want to bring something to play music in the room. I will pack headphones so that I can listen to my music on my phone. I think I am going to get some kind of like meditation or maybe hypnobirthing album to listen to while I'm in the labor process. I just haven't quite decided that yet, but I want to make sure I have a very peaceful environment because I don't want any extra stress in the room. The last column on here is postpartum / baby care. So this is everything from when I would deliver to when I would leave. So the first thing in this column is breastfeeding ASAP. I want to be able to breastfeed him as soon as I can. I don't want there to be any restrictions. I don't want there to be any, he has to go do this or do that. I want to be able to start breastfeeding him as soon as I can. And the next thing on here is stating the golden hour. And those things kind of go hand in hand. I just want to make sure that that first hour that he is here, that I am able to spend the time breastfeeding him, holding him, cuddling him, having that time together. The next thing is parents will bathe. I do not want them to give him a wipe down. I don't want them to give him a bath. I want me or my husband to do that, if not us do that together. Miha. Hey. My dog's downstairs freaking out. Okay. You good? Welcome, my barking dog. You gonna say hi, Miha? Trying to film, and you're being a little bugger. There's no one out there. Miha, you say hi? Say hi, YouTube. Say, I want to be in the video. Come on over here. Hey. I know, you just would love. Say, so I'm a pretty, pretty doggy. Okay, we'll try and continue this video with my dog in this room. So the next one on here is parents will bathe. And that is because I do not want them to wipe him down. I don't want them to give him a bath. I would prefer me or my husband or the both of us were to share that first experience. I want us to have that moment where we get to give him his first bath. The next one is circumcision. I am having a boy and he will be circumcised. I know that can be kind of controversial, so I'm not going to go into all of that, but I am planning on having him circumcised. The next one is yes to eye ointment. I am totally okay with them giving him eye ointment. I've looked into it. I understand the reasoning why people do not get their child eye ointment, but I have not found any valid research that says that it is harmful for them to get the eye ointment. And the last one on here is vitamin K, and that is because we will be allowing him to have the vitamin K shot as well. So at the very bottom of my birth plan, I don't have it showing here just for privacy information, but it does say parents, and it states mine and my husband's name, and then it says support team, and it states our support team's names and what they are to us. And then on the other side, it states my allergies and the medications that I am on. That way it's a very quick reference. I'm sure they may ask my husband these things, and he probably will not remember them off the top of his head. So this is a quick place that he can go and look. If for some reason I'm in a lot of pain and I can't communicate that, he's able to look on this too and be like, oh yeah, these are her allergies, and this is the medication that she is on. I just didn't put this on here for privacy information, but definitely feel free to add that to your birth plan as well. It is really important for them to know that. Thankfully, my doctor office can pull up all the stuff in my labor to delivery so they can see my medications that I have allergies to and the medications that I am on. But I created this birth plan with the idea of there being a really quick reference to things, and that is the reason why I stated those on my birth plan. That is my visual birth plan that I created. It may change because I am going to go to my midwife with this birth plan and get her opinion on things and see if there's things that she thinks I could leave out, or maybe some things that she thinks I might want to add based on what's important to me. And if that happens and there's any major changes to my birth plan, then I will create another video. And I also plan on creating a video after I give birth about how my birth experience went and if I thought my birth plan was helpful to me and what my plans may be for my next labor and delivery experience. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more videos. Thanks, you guys.